Football season is here, and so are we.
We've got an Inside the Nest season preview coming up right now.
Hello and welcome to the first 2019 edition of Inside the Nest. Alongside Brooklyn Vaughn, I'm Dan Wilson, and we're excited to bring you all things Temple football for the upcoming season.
Our first live show comes your way Tuesday, but with the season opener Saturday, we did not want to waste any time. And there are plenty of storylines for this Saturday's game versus Bucknell on the coaching front and the injury front.
New head coach Rod Carey officially announced on Wednesday that Anthony Russo will be starting this weekend under center. Russo has been bothered by a sore calf. Russo threw for 2,563 yards and 14 touchdowns last season. However, the main focus will be on his decision-making, as he also threw for 14 interceptions. It's been a hectic offseason for the Owls. Here's your history lesson. On December 7th, Jeff Collins was named head coach at Georgia Tech. Just 6 days later, University of Miami defensive coordinator Manny Diaz was introduced as the 28th coach in Temple football history. But his tenure didn't even last until the end of the month. When the Miami head coaching job opened up, Diaz went back to South Florida just 17 days after taking the Temple job. Fast forward to January 10th when Rod Carey signed a 6-year contract to be Temple's next head coach. Collins and Diaz were not the only coaching departures this offseason, as Ed Foley, who was the longest tenured coach on the Owls staff, accepted a position at Baylor University with former Owls head coach Matt Rule.
And Carey is also continuing the long-standing single-digit tradition where players vote on the best Temple tough players and award them with a single digit. Only 2 of last year's 9 single digits are returning. Linebackers Chappelle Russell and Sean Bradley will be leading the defense, along with some newly named single digits, Dan Archibong, Isaiah Graham Mobley, and Sam Franklin. Also joining the single-digit club are receivers Isaiah Wright, Brandon Mack, and Randall Jones.
Rod Carey held his first ever weekly Tuesday media conference ahead of Temple's Week 1 game on Saturday. With more on this, we send it over to Inside the Nest reporter Ray Dunn at Edberg Olson Hall. Hey, Ray.
Thanks, Dan. On Tuesday, head coach Rod Carey met with the media for his first weekly press conference of the season and discussed his excitement for the season and senior leadership going into this year.
You know, it is a incredible thing, and I could speak on this for hours, and I know we don't have hours, but you know, Sean, Chappelle, and Sam in IGM. I'll throw him in there too, and I throw Will in there too. Those 5 guys, all different guys, all way different people, but their leadership and then to the team in concert with the new coaching staff, I've never been around something like that in my life. That's a credit to them and how much they love Temple and how much they love Temple football and how much they love their teammates. I wish I had like 5 years with them instead of just this one. So I'm going to cherish every moment with them. And so I am excited for that. And not to mention the good opponent that we have coming in Bucknell. And, you know, then to finally get to a game with 8 months under our belt. Really excited for the guys. Really excited for us. It's football season again. It's fun, isn't it?
The first look at Carey's Owls will be on Saturday with Bucknell coming to town. For now, from Edberg Olson Hall, I'm Ray Dunn. Dan in Brooklyn, back to you.
Thanks, Ray. And now let's take a look ahead to this week's matchup against Bucknell. Of course, Temple fans are anxious for Rod Carey's first game as head coach, but he's not the only new head coach in town. Dave Cicchino makes his coaching debut for the Bison as well, and before landing the job at Bucknell, he was the head coach at Valparaiso University for 5 seasons. And before that, he was the offensive coordinator at Harvard, where he coached the Miami Dolphins quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. This will only be Bucknell's 3rd game facing an FBS team in the last 18 years, and the last time Bucknell played the Big Boys was against Army back in 2015, and the Bison fell short with a final score of 21-14.
Believe it or not, Temple will take on Bucknell for the 45th time in program history, the most it's played against any other school. The Owls are 16-20-8 all-time against the Bison. The majority of those matchups came in the old shoe rivalry days. From 1927 to 1970, the schools played each other annually, and the winner took home a bronze statue of a football shoe. The series also featured the first ever regularly scheduled night game, a tradition that started way back on October 10, 1930, when the Owls won 7-6. Looking ahead, the Owls play all 4 non-conference games on their schedule between now and the end of September.
Yeah, Dan, and most of these games are at home, 3 of the 4 to be exact, with a bye week thrown in there after Bucknell. So there's Bucknell on Saturday for a 3 p.m. start time, followed by an early bye week, and after that bye week, the Owls then face the Terps at home on September 14th for a noon kickoff.
The first road game of the season will be a trip to upstate New York to take on Buffalo, a team that surprised the Owls last season. Then on September 28th, perhaps the most anticipated game of the season, at least in non-conference, it'll be Jeff Collins' return to Philadelphia as his Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take on the Owls at Lincoln Financial Field. Collins was 15-10 during his time on North Broad, making him the winningest Temple coach in history for just 2 seasons. The Georgia native led the Owls to back-to-back bowl game appearances.
So it'll be a busy fall as always, and we will do our best to keep you up to date every Tuesday beginning at noon on TUTV. We'll have Carey's live weekly media conference at Edberg Olson Hall. We'll take a look back at the previous game, look ahead to the next game, and our beat reporters will be busy. Ray Dunn and Dom Gillespie. We'll have live guests, and it's going to be a great fall. Inside the Nest, don't miss out each Tuesday at noon on TUTV.
And of course, follow us on Twitter at OwlSports Update for all things Temple football and Temple athletics.
For Dan Wilson, I am Brooklyn Vaughn. Have a great weekend, everybody.